Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to go over the trades that we took today inside the Discord, as well as the game plan going into tomorrow. So today, this is what we looked like right off of open. There was a big gap down. There was news before open that dropped us quite a bit. So when we opened up, we ended up obviously losing the 50 on the call side because of that big gap up. And this is what we looked like on the put side on the 30 minutes. So we ended up closing above this 50 SMA on the 30 minute. That doesn't really mean much because there's still a big gap between the 10, the 50. 50 still down. So, we needed to see some, continuation to the downside to get this 30 minute to cross and for us to flip bearish. So today, right off open, the market was neutral because obviously we know that the bulls were losing the trend right here. 10's going below the 50, and then the puts were right at the 50 SMA as well. So we just had to wait for the puts to cross in order for the bears to take the trend, which didn't end up happening. As you guys can see, we ended up pulling back on these puts and ended up pumping the rest of the day. So this is how we looked on the 0-day chart. There really wasn't anything going on today. I didn't call anything on the Discord. There just wasn't really anything to take. So this is what we looked like off of open. The puts ended up crossing right here, but I'm not taking this. We were right at that 30-minute 50, and also SMAs were super extended. This is not a trade to take, and just waiting for this chart to go negative was the trade to look for. But with how the price action was when we did go negative, I just didn't like it. And also we did have Trump on at 11 a.m. and he didn't come on for I don't even know how long after, maybe like 30-40 minutes. So this wasn't a trade I wanted to take with Trump coming on the mic. He could say one thing and the market absolutely rip or dump. So I didn't want to be in a trade during this time. So really this negative cross I sat out on. Didn't want to be in that trade with news coming out, or if he said something that could mess up the trade. So I wasn't taking that. If we flip to the call side, this is what we looked like. Really, the only trade opportunity was this little cross right here. So if you did want to take a trade today, this is probably your best shot. 10 going above the 50. We got this little dip here to the 10 where you could have entered. And this ended up working out beautifully, but it was, I think some news came out that pumped us. I don't know what this action has been recently with the random news candles, but this literally have been happening every single day where there's a random news candle that comes out and we just get a massive pump or dump. It's so weird, but if you did take this, you end up catching probably like 50 to 80 points, maybe even 100 points depending on your entry. But other than that, there was really no trade to take. You don't buy this 50 dip down in here because the market's still neutral. You only do that in a trending market. And yeah, I mean, as you can see, the rest of the day was just choppy. So really the only opportunity would have been this little cross that we got. You would have been paid on it because of the news that came out. But in this type of market, like I said, you got to have like manual stops in place, because if this candle ended up going the other way, you'd have been screwed, and it could have continued lower or whatever it may be. So having that manual stop of like 40-50 points, make sure you got it, because these random news candles will screw you if you don't have a stop in place. So that's really how you could have played today. There really wasn't much going on. We got this cross end of the day, but obviously not taking this. This is the last 20 minutes of the market. I wouldn't take a cross the last 30 minutes of the market. The latest I'll do it is probably like the last hour if we get it, or the last like 50 minutes. Other than that, wouldn't touch a cross in the last like 30 minutes of the day or 40 minutes of the day. So yeah, I mean, it was a very choppy day. You can see these candles, not much going on besides this little cross. And going into tomorrow, this is what we look like. 555 calls. Obviously, we got a massive rip after hours or in the close as well. So most likely these might be crossed at open. It really just depends on what happens by open, because we do have more news that comes out in the morning. I'm pretty sure Trump is on at 7 o'clock already. So depending on where we open up, will determine what we do. If market's bullish tomorrow, obviously you know what to do. The focus is on the long side. We look for a 0-day cross on calls. Those will already probably be crossed if we do flip bullish. So at that point, most likely we're going to be looking for a 50 SMA dip on the 0-day chart to take an entry. If we don't flip bullish tomorrow and we're still neutral, just look for a put cross. That'll most likely be the trade to take if we did drop a lot from news or something like that in the morning and this whole move reverses. So put cross would be the move if we did flip neutral. So a day like today, man, you just want to be risk off. If you take a trade, like if you took that cross today, I wouldn't have been sized much at all. I would have been like half size of a typical trade. Just go lighter in the neutral markets. It will save you so much money if you do that, because when we have trend, that's where we get those big moves. That's when the confidence is high on those 0-day crosses. So when we're neutral, just if you could, squeeze out some points, that's great. If not, and you take a loss, okay, you're good. If you take a loss, it's a small loss. If you take a win, it's a small win. Move on to the next day, and you'll be good. So you want to just capitalize when we had that 30-minute trend, which we didn't today. Since the calls, we had the 10 below the 50, and on the put side, we had the 10 below the 50 as well. So no trend in the market means we're neutral. If you guys are new, that's what that means. So once one of these charts crosses, then we'll have trend. The only thing I'm concerned really, if we do flip bullish, is this 4-hour 50 SMA. It is sloped down quite a bit, but if we are bullish, I will, remain on the, side of the trend. I'm not gonna not take a trade on the 0-day chart, because the 4-hour, I'll still give it a go, because there's a chance it does break. Yeah, we'll just have to see how we look tomorrow at open. So that's what we did today. Didn't call anything on the Discord. I know Colton gave that negative cross a go, and he stopped break even on it, I believe. So that was probably another trade that he could have possibly taken. I just didn't like it with news out, but I know he was lighter size. So is what it is. If you guys enjoyed, drop a sub. If you guys want to learn, join Discord down below. That's where all the trades are shared. Ton of knowledge in there as well. So yeah, I'm out. Peace.